call the meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. All members are present. Approval of the agenda. Is there any changes to the agenda? I don't see any. Okay. Council have any changes?
No.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Motion to approve.
A motion by Heidi. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Approval of the minutes of the October 5th, 2016 regular meeting. There were some changes made that I went through with Nikki already. Is there any other changes or corrections or clarification to the minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the October 5th, 2016 regular meeting?
I'll make the motion.
A motion by Diane, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Dave. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Now is our public open forum. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? We do have 2 public hearings coming up. Is it something other than Oak Street project or? Okay, we've got a public hearing coming up for that, and then we'll be able to let you speak then, okay? Is there anyone else that would like to speak to the council? Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Seeing no one, we will close our public open forum. We will then go to our reports and presentations. Police Department monthly report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Activity report for September 2016. Some of the numbers we had 12 alarm calls. We did 2 canine assists for other agencies. We had 19 personal assists. We had 31 assists for other agencies. We had 39 citizen contacts. We had 6 arrests for 5th degree controlled substance. We had 11 dog complaints. We had 10 arrests for a small amount of marijuana and drug paraphernalia. We had 8 gas drive-offs, 11 juvenile problem calls, 39 matter of information calls, 13 medicals. We gave 7 citations for no Minnesota license. We had 9 accidents, 18 school patrols. We had 15 suspicious calls. And we had 4 thefts. We had 4 unwanted person calls and 12 welfare checks. So we had, and we gave out 254 verbal warnings. We had a total number of calls of 455 for a total of 709 for the month. Compare that to August, we were down on calls 11, down on giving out warnings 74, and down total 119. And if you compare it to 2015, we were up 108 calls, down 19 on warnings, and so we're up 89, so pretty comparable for the month and year. Otherwise, that's all I have for September.
Okay, questions for Brian? Okay, sounds good.
It's hard to believe you were down the way when you were talking about all of them there. It seems like you were up and
dog complaints,
Yeah.
matter of informations, and
Yeah, and we're up on a lot of citizen contacts, but we're down on some of the other stuff. But like I say, our department, we've been really trying to document more of our citizen contact and what we're doing out there, just what's going on with policing. We just want to make sure there's more documentation, so you really start seeing the numbers go up in those columns. So.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Moving on to public hearings. We have 2 of them tonight. We will recess the normal meeting and we will now go into our public hearings. We have a public hearing before us this evening regarding the proposed Oak Street assessments and then the proposed assessment for unpaid utility and city service charges. It is our intention that everyone has the opportunity to be heard. If you wish to speak, please sign in on the sign-up sheet at the back of the room. The procedure is as follows. Presentation by staff, followed by questions of staff. Then we will have public input. Raise your hand. When recognized by the mayor, approach the podium and state your name and address for the record. State your comments and position. No one will be allowed to speak a second time until everyone has had a chance to be heard. First, we will hear questions for clarification. Then secondly, public in favor of the proposal. Third, public speaking against the proposal. After everyone who wishes to speak has had opportunity to be heard, the hearing will be closed. After closure of the public hearing, the council will deliberate and take action as appropriate. Members of the audience do not participate in the council's discussion unless a majority of the council concedes to hear additional information or questions. The hearing is now in session. First public hearing will be the proposed Oak Street assessment. Keith?
Okay, thank you, Mayor and Council. This is the, I think I will take this so I can move around a little bit. The assessment hearing for the Oak Street reconstruction. I'm just going to briefly go through the project and then go into the assessments. As you all know, the project is essentially complete with the exception of the wear course, which will be put on generally early June of 2017. The costs of the assessments, we've estimated what those remaining costs of the project will be in 2017. So this is the assessment hearing. If you recall, this is a mix of commercial and residential in this area. Severe deterioration of the streets, extensive patching. The utilities have also extensive deterioration. The water main actually at 2nd Street was leaking in that area. The proposed improvements were to basically replace all of the utilities throughout those 2 blocks of roadway, including all the roadway, most all of the curb, especially in the southerly block, and portions of the curb in the northerly block were replaced. All the sidewalk was replaced. Additional sidewalk was put in on the west side in that northerly block. That was an addition that was that the council added to the project. These are estimated final project costs. Total estimated project cost is just a little over $371,000. The city costs $114,600. PUC costs $108,607. Accessible costs $147,000 for those. Final assessment summary. These are the assessments per front foot for the street portions. And this includes a 50% credit for the street and curb and gutters, sidewalks, and storm sewer as well in these rates that you see in front of us. I just wanted to also note that there was a fuel tank that you recall that we had to remove. Those costs are not included in here. That's a separate city cost, and that's about $12,000 for that that fuel tank that was found that was abandoned there. The assessments then are here. I just want to note in the top right corner, those are the total assessments per lineal foot. You'll notice the discounts included. If you go like to that first one there, a 50% discount on the street and the storm. So that's where the discount comes in as it's shown there. So these are the individual, and I believe all the property owners were notified of this, but it ranges generally in this page about $10,000. This one, there's 3 pages here. The lowest one, $9,066.33. That one actually had a water service that wasn't put in, actually was fairly new that had been placed in there. This one has, there's 2 lots at the bottom, the same owner, about a total of almost $20,000, about $20,000 for the 2 lots combined. One of them has utility, sewer and water services to them. So these are the assessments that are proposed to be levied against those properties. With that, I will turn it over to council if they have any questions first.
Council have any questions for Keith?
Where was
Comments?
the fuel tank? Was that on city property or?
It was within the right-of-way. It was adjacent to the, I can't recall the business name, but there was an old, it was a diner that was there on the east side. Yeah. We found it digging through there, so that had to be removed, and there was some contaminated soil and those kinds of things, so we had to take all that out according to MPCA regulations. So that was a surprise that is found. There was really the only other real surprise I would say is we found a old window well that was in what's the corner bar there, along there. There was an old window well that was uncovered, and that had to get a little bit of patching to make sure that was sturdy enough to put dirt against it again and put a sidewalk on it. So those were kind of the 2 surprises that we found as we went through the project.
Keith, how big was the tank that was removed?
I want to say it was about 2,000 gallons.
Oh, my gosh. I'm thinking of a little 50-gallon thing.
Yeah.
2,000 gallons is huge.
And it had some product. It was likely water and oil, and fuel oil mixed. I don't think it was completely fuel oil, but there was product in it. It wasn't a real lot, but there was some in there.
Any other questions for Keith? Okay. We'll then go and ask, is there any questions from the public, or did you want to say? Yeah. Can you come up, state your name and address for me, please?
Name's Mike Wood, I live at 119 South Oak.
Okay.
We were told that whatever they take out, they had to replace. Well, they shortened the width of my driveway by 4 feet. You have to make it like a wide turn to get into the driveway or run over top of the curb.
Okay.
When they redid the driveway, the new water line they put in, they cemented it over top of it. So if the city wants to shut the water off, they're going to have to chip concrete to find the cutout valve.
Well, they concreted over the top of the valve?
Sure did. They put a new valve in and then they concrete over top of it.
Okay.
Also, I got a letter before this thing started. It said $9 grand. Well, a little over $9 grand. Just the other day, I get a letter saying it's 11 something. Where do the other $2,000 come from?
Okay. Yeah, I got 10,886.53 is what that is. I don't know, what was the preliminary, you know?
First one was 9.5 something, and then I get another letter in the mail just 2 days ago saying it's 11,000 something now.
Okay. Keith, can you answer part of the,
I just like to know where the other $2,000 come from.
right? Keith, Vicky, do you got any?
Answer that question. Well, I'll go kind of in reverse order, I guess. As it relates to the cost, recall the first assessment, it's a preliminary assessment, so it's not necessarily the exact amount. We do our best job to estimate what we think it's going to be, but then as we go through that final design and going through the bid, the prices did escalate during that period. It really was related to some of the scope of the project. It was a little more and a little more expensive than we had initially estimated in that preliminary assessment. So that's the reason for increases on that. As it relates to if there's a curb box that's covered up, I certainly will look into that. That will have to be repaired. That will be a contractor issue. That would not increase the cost of the
You
project.
got to come out and make a wider turn to get into the drive without hitting the curb. I mean, They took 4 feet out away from the width of my driveway.
Yeah, I will look into that. I'm not aware that that occurred, but I will certainly look into that and see what, if anything occurred there, what exactly happened. But I'm not aware of that, but I will certainly look at that issue.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Also, your drain that you guys took out on one side and put it over there on the other side, all the water still comes to my side. What are you supposed to do? It's like the water's gotta run uphill. It ain't gonna make it uphill. But they pulled the drain out. The drain was on the side over here, and that's where all the water builds up at. Well, they took the drain out of there and put it over on the other side, across the street, on the other side. Well, the water ain't gonna run uphill to those drains. You got a drain there and a drain across on the other side of the park. It's all running uphill.
Yeah, I will certainly look at that. I believe all the drainage has been taken care of, but I will certainly take a good look and just to make sure that there's not going to be an issue.
That one corner right there, every year, it does it right in that one corner, and then.
And that's, is that right at Park? Is that
Park and Oak
on the which east side?
east side.
East side,
Can
okay.
you pull that map up again? Is that possible?
Yeah.
So you're talking about right.
Where Oak meets Park. There was a drain there, but they pulled that drain out and put it across on the other side, by the other sidewalk over there on the other side, on the west side, and the water still all builds up right there in that corner.
We'll take a look at that. Actually, I don't even recall that there was a storm sewer that was placed in there, but I will definitely look at that and make sure there's no drainage issues.
Okay. So is that satisfactory with you, that he'll look at that curb, that driveway and the curb, the driveway, the concrete over the shut-off and the drainage? Our engineer will check into that for you.
So what is this deal? Is it 11,000 I gotta pay now, or is it still?
The amount that would be proposed would be what you have currently. So the one that you just received and the one that you saw tonight that the council's, assuming the council approves moving forward with those assessments, that would be the assessment that would be levied.
The figure that we have is 10,886.53.
So it's about 1,300, I believe, more than
Yeah.
year 95, I think you said initially.
It was 95, then all of a sudden I get another letter saying it's 11 something.
So he has a different amount that we're seeing even now, even still today.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly why that would be, but it should be that 10.8 that we have here tonight. I assume that's the one that went out to folks.
10,886.53.
Yeah.
So
That's the number we've
that's
got.
the amount, 10,886.53.
86?
Yeah.
10,886.53. Here's a copy of the label that went on this notice.
So the letter I got was kind of like bogus that way. The one that said 11 something.
I have no idea where that, if
Maybe-
you got a letter for 11,000, I have no idea where that one came, you know.
Came from the same place the other, the 9.5 did, so.
Okay.
Could you possibly bring it in and maybe
Sure.
have the
Yeah.
city take a look at it?
Yeah, you bring it in tomorrow and have staff look at it and we'll see, there might have
Only if
been
you guys open.
till,
I gotta work till 5.
okay, 4:30.
5 tomorrow.
Either that or staff will research it and,
We have 10,886 is the number that we have.
yeah. That's it.
Just should have one copy of whatever they sent out. Lot, maybe, or
This is a photocopy of the
What
labels
went in
that went
there?
out, yeah.
I don't know how that.
Yeah,
I'm saying, the city wants to shut off the water from where they put it in my yard. They're gonna kip up the concrete.
If that's the
case, Okay.
the contractor will be self-repairing.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because they said right over top. Why put, God, how good they're doing.
Great.
That shouldn't have happened, so I'll check it out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone else here that would like to speak in favor or against, or have questions on the Oak Street project?
I have a letter
Okay.
It's an objection to the assessment. It is from Tracy Ryan at 211 Oak Street South. I'm writing to formally object to the proposed assessment for my property located at 211 Oak Street South, based upon the following information presented by legal brief of Briggs and Morgan, and she refers to the state constitution that talks about the benefit versus the assessed cost. I understand that the proposed improvements were difficult to assess, and the city has absorbed a significant portion of the costs. However, the assessment is far more than my property can bear, and I believe that it can be clearly demonstrated that the assessment does not increase the property's market value by a like amount. I would be happy to discuss this matter further and provide the documentation to support my objection. Tracy Ryan, owner.
Okay. Will be recorded into the record. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
How do we pay for this, big bill we got here?
That will be, the assessments will be spread out, put on your property taxes over the next 10 years. And you can either prepay it or it'll be on your property taxes for the next 10 years. Based, and I thought, is it 1% over whatever the bond rating was, is what we usually do.
Yeah, so I think this, correct, 1%.
We have, I think we have the resolution is set at 4% total.
4% interest rate over 10 years is what it's based on, so. Any other questions on the Oak Street assessment? Anyone else that would like to speak on the Oak Street assessment? Anyone else that would like to speak on the assessment? Hearing no one, public hearing on that item is closed. We will now have the public hearing for proposed assessment for unpaid utility and city service charges, following the same public hearing procedure.
Okay, you have before you tonight a list of an assessment roll for unpaid city and utility service charges. As you recall, on September 21st, you called for a hearing to be held this evening to consider that assessment. State statute does allow the city to apply unpaid service charges against property taxes, which include lot mowing, snow removal, sidewalks, unpaid utility bills, etc. I do have a listing of the affected properties. We did have, one person did come in and pay, so that has been amended to the new list that you have in front of you tonight. There's a total balance of $1762.40. The assessment does call for the $100 administration fee to be added to the amount owed, and the council has in the past waived that, but last year they chose not to waive that fee for anybody that pays the tax within the next 30 days as an incentive to clear the bill. After 30 days, the assessment roll will be forwarded to Stearns County for the 2017 property tax statement. And this is not carried over a number of years. This is a one-time payment to be included in the 2017 property taxes. The total is $1,762.40, of which $500 of that is a $100 admin fee on each of the 5 assessments that we have. Does anybody have any questions on any of the specific assessments or the process that we are going through?
Questions? Do you know which one was it that paid off?
The 1837 Manette Court,
Okay.
Kristen Gutskow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any questions of staff on this item? Not. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on the proposed assessment for unpaid utility and city service charges? Is there anyone here that would like to speak on that item? Is there anyone here that would like to speak on that assessment? Seeing no one, the public hearing is now closed, and our normal meeting is now reopened. Action items 7A, approve resolution 2016-77, adopting final assessments, Oak Street.
This is the resolution that would adopt the assessments that Keith just spoke of earlier. They do have, if you will note, we do have it in there for 10 years and at 4% interest rate. So they would begin in May of 2017 with property tax, continue to start to pay those project costs. We did have the one objection that was formally entered into the record. And so if you adopt this proposed assessment, but because she filed that, now she has a time frame that she can actually negotiate or go to district court. So you still adopt the resolution with all of that on there, but hers is kind of sitting there in limbo, and we'll come back with another action on that particular item. Unless she does not proceed forward, it would stand. If she does come forward with more information, then we have the opportunity to change it, but only for hers, because she's formally objected in writing at the meeting. We haven't had that happen for some time, so I just want to explain exactly how that would work for you. Otherwise, we're looking to approve Resolution 2016-77, adopting the final assessment for Oak Street project.
Questions? Comments? Everybody understands the procedure?
I'm just wondering about the gentleman that spoke, though, if he came forward with a bill that was more, would we still go by what 10,886?
His assessment is the 10,800 one, yeah.
Okay.
All I can, either it was misread, or if something got transposed, or the wrong sticker went on his envelope or something, it could have happened. I'm not saying that it didn't, so. But his official assessment is the
But we're-
10,800.
Yeah, that's what we're
Yeah.
voting on, is to
Oh, here he
Oh,
comes.
he's coming back with the letter right now. Okay.
I'll take a picture. Right at the top, 10,886.53.
Okay, so it
So-
does match.
It matches, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, any other questions, comments? We have a motion to approve Resolution 2016-77, adopting final assessment for Oak Street project.
So moved.
We have a motion by Dave, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Keith. Any other comments, questions? Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Approve Resolution 2016-78, adopting assessment, unpaid utility and city service charges. We have 2 actions. First of all, is if the council wants to waive the portion of the administrative fee if paid before November 15th, and then or approve the resolution adopting the assessment roll for unpaid city and utility service charges. What is the council's wishes? Last year was the first year that we did not waive that $100 administrative fee. Personally, I think that's the way we should go again.
I agree.
I'll make that motion that we not waive the portion if paid earlier.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Keith, second by Diane, not to waive the administrative fee if paid before November 15th, 2016. Comments, questions? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Now, do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2016-78, adopting the assessment roll for unpaid city and utility service charges?
I'll make that motion as
We have a
well.
motion by Keith. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Dave. Comments, questions? Actually, I think the list is a little shorter than we usually have as
Yes,
far
it
as
is.
it comes to that,
Yeah.
so that's probably a good side of this part of it. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. CVB appointment.
You have in your packet a nomination form or a request to be nominated to the CVB board. We do have the open term that was vacated by Sarah Weber, and that term expires on December 31st, 2017. We do have a nomination that was submitted by Richard Polipnik requesting to be on the board. And so the request is for the council to appoint Richard Polipnik to fill the remaining term of Sarah Weber expiring on December 31st, 2017. And this is for the CVB board. And he did talk about the different things that he's been involved in over the years. I don't know if you want me to read all those, but you do have it in your application. He seems very anxious and motivated. So.
Questions, comments? I know Richard, he's very outgoing and he's full of a lot of ideas, and I think he'll add something to the CVB. Plus, it's good to get some younger blood into the system here and have things go in that direction. So, do I have a motion to appoint Dick Polipnik to fill the remaining term of Sarah Weber expiring on December 31st, 2017 for the CVB?
Motion to approve.
A motion by Heidi, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Any other questions, comments? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Approve Resolution 2016-79 authorizing sale of vehicle.
We did receive one more vehicle that's been released for sale by administrative procedure or forfeiture. The police department is requesting it be considered excess and advertised. This is a 2003 Dodge Caravan. So we're asking to approve Resolution 2016-79 declaring the property excess and advertising for sale. It's taking us some time to get the titles in correctly, and when we get a batch of them, we'll put them online for sale, but
So I was gonna say, there's a lot of them down there.
they're kind of straggling in, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I thought things were supposed to speed up in this computerized age.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? Otherwise, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2016-79 declaring property excess and advertising for sale?
So moved.
A motion by Keith,
I'll second.
second by Diane. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Unfinished business, comp plan consultant selection update.
We just had the interviews this afternoon, and the interview committee consisted of Sarah Warnstone, Heidi Leach, myself, and Paul from the Public Utility. And so we are hoping that we will have a recommendation either at the next council meeting or the following one. We just haven't had time yet to regroup on that and look and see what exactly our recommendation will be. But that will be forthcoming. So we had some good presentations and more to follow.
Any other questions on that? Okay. New business, annual safety training contract.
Annually, the city, we've worked in conjunction with the Public Utility for a number of years now on safety training. The Public Utility contracts with Minnesota Municipal Utilities Association for its program, and then we pay half the bill, except for the electric part. The PUC pays that. The city share for October of 16 to September 30th of 17 is $5,400. And we did look out to some alternatives back when we were doing budget, and to the safety training was to go with resource training and solutions, and then they have more online video training type program where there's a bunch of different catalogs that you can do online. You can have webinars and that type of training. And we would have full access to all of those programs for $400 per year. Plus, they do some on-site training because there's some things you have to be on-site. So there'd be a total of $1,000 per year for that program. And then the medical training like CPR, DFib, those types of trainings, then we would have the city's ambulance department teach us those. So that would be a little bit of a change. So we'd still get all the required training, it's just that the ambulance service would be training for those types of things. So we looked at pros and cons to each of them. If you want to delve deeper into the resource training option, maybe you want the committee to look at that, to evaluate that. Or if you feel like we really need to stay with the PUC program, you know, we can go ahead and approve that now. So I just wanted to get some input from you. We had been tasked before to look at some potential cost savings, and this was an option that we came up with. Otherwise, you know, you can stick with the PUC. When I did let them know that we were having this conversation tonight, and I don't know, Dave, on the PUC, if you had talked about this yet or not. I know that the PUC did renew their safety training contract for that next calendar year, or that next year. So we could, you know, stay with at least to the end of the year, which would be the first quarter of their contract. And then if we're going to make a change, do it on the first of the year, and that way give the city and the PUC some time to talk about it. I know the safety committee meeting did have some discussion about what could maybe be done differently to give the city staff more value out of it, since we're paying half of it. And so we've done quite a bit of research in it. We just, at this point, I don't know if you want to have the committee get involved in it, or if the council wants us to bring more information back and you decide as a whole which direction you want to go. Or if you just want to say, you know, we think it's important to stick with the PUC and just approve it right now. That's up to you.
You're talking how much, what's the difference, $1,500?
It would be $1,000 to do it with resource training, and it'd be $5,400 to stay with the PUC. Unless we could negotiate not paying half.
Questions?
Okay, so
Go ahead.
$1,400 for resource training. I'm assuming you still need the online.
It's $400 for all the online, and then there would be like another $600, so a total of $1,000 if we had the, yeah.
Okay.
But there's a lot of value in getting the different departments together too on when they go to safety training. So you're kind of trying to weigh those things together. And it doesn't have to be decided tonight.
Looking at this, I'd actually recommend that it would go to a committee to evaluate.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking that probably 90% of this whole thing is based for water and lake safety, for the electrical side and trenching and stuff, and I don't know how much is actually,
Yeah, if there's a 50-50 split.
you know, if it's worth us to be paying 50% of, you know, if they're spending 90% of the time down at PUC doing safety training, and our guys get a stop-in visit every now and then at this
Well,
end.
I think they provide a different training series for the non-electrical people, some
Okay.
of that sort of thing, but
Yeah.
whether it's got enough value to make up for it for us.
We have the whole list of all the training classes that are taught. And so you'll be able to look at that. And we have,
I
this
think the
is for
committee-
everybody, this is for electric, this might be for admin, you know, we have that all. So you can look at that, whichever committee you send it to.
You know, we're looking at all cost savings possible here, and if we're not getting a benefit. Brian, did you have something?
Vicki, did
You want to come up so we
some of
can?
that training come out of my budget?
Yes, it did.
It still does?
It still does. It's based on, I realize that, and that's another thing, you know, when it came back to the city, it's spread between all the departments, and we've got ambulance and fire and police are paying a share of it, but they're not a part of it because they have their own training. And then before, when the council was looking at it, they spread it all the way across, otherwise it put a really heavy burden on just the public works guys and the admin in the office to pay. So that was kind of why it got spread broader, but then it got spread broader to departments that don't participate in it, and so that really needs to be looked at.
And that's, I think, the reason why it needs to go to a committee to research this.
A lot of that training doesn't pertain to us at all. I mean, we're already getting it on our online stuff, and with the requirements we need to post, we get it through our own training and
Right.
Good.
Okay.
Good point.
Yep. You are, so far, thank you for the contribution, but the committee will look for that.
So what committee you wanted to do it?
Operations or policy?
I think operations seems more.
Operations
Yeah.
probably more
Yeah.
appropriate.
Operations
Yeah.
probably, because then we can look at the list.
Okay.
Okay. General consent?
Yeah.
Yep.
Who's operations committee?
I
think it's Keith and Diane.
Heidi and, who?
I think, is it you two?
No. No, it's Heidi and Dave
No, it's
and
not.
No.
It's not
Keith.
Heidi.
No?
I'm on, finance and
At a
personnel.
meeting, I don't think it's
We-
me.
Pretty sure it's not.
Tells you how things smooth it goes. You don't even know.
Tells
who's
you
on
how often you
committees.
meet.
I have it written down upstairs. I'll make sure the right people are invited.
I know I'm on it. I don't know about you
Yeah, you've
guys.
been on operations for a
Yep.
while.
Yep.
The reason I ask is because I'm on the PUC commission as well.
Yeah.
And so if I'm on the operations committee, I think it'd be more appropriate if somebody else
Someone else steps
reviewed
in.
this.
Okay.
Good point.
Very good. Anything else on that?
Nope.
Okay, then we will go to the consent agenda. We have the schedule of claims, unpaid claims of $178,586.99, paid claims of $1,027.60, for a total of $179,614.59. September checks, which includes 3 payrolls, equals $533,654.31. We have a gambling application for exempt permit request from the Sauk Center Lions Club for a raffle on February 22nd, 2017 at Jitters Java Cafe. Any questions or concern over the consent agenda? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Heidi, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Diane.
Okay.
Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. We have no informational items. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion by Dave. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Heidi. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Meeting adjourned.